In a bustling city where dreams often clash with harsh realities, Sarah found herself torn between her job and her ailing mother. With mounting medical bills and a fragile hope, she chose to work overtime, sacrificing her own well-being for the sake of her family. Unbeknownst to her, her dedication did not go unnoticed. Her boss, Alex, a man with his own hidden struggles, was watching closely, and what he saw would change both their lives forever. Sarah Thompson was a fighter. At 25, she had already faced more challenges than most people do in a lifetime. After losing her father to a sudden illness, she had become the primary caregiver for her mother, who had been diagnosed with a chronic illness that left her bedridden and in need of constant support. The weight of responsibility rested heavily on Sarah's shoulders, but she refused to let it crush her spirit. Every morning she would wake up before dawn, preparing breakfast for her mother and ensuring she took her medications. After a quick shower and a cup of coffee, she would rush to her job at a marketing firm where she worked as a junior executive. The office was a fast-paced environment filled with ambitious colleagues who often competed for recognition and promotions. Sarah had always been a hard worker, but lately her focus had shifted. Her mother's health was deteriorating, and the mounting medical bills were a constant reminder of the financial strain they were under. Despite her exhaustion, Sarah made the decision to take on extra shifts at work. She knew that every hour she spent in the office could mean the difference between paying the bills and falling behind. Her colleagues often commented on her dedication, but they didn't know the full story. They didn't see the late nights she spent at home, caring for her mother, or the tears she shed when she thought about their uncertain future. One evening, as Sarah was preparing to leave the office, her boss, Alex Carter, approached her. He was a tall man in his 30s, with sharp features and an air of confidence that commanded respect. "Sarah, can I have a word?" he asked, his tone serious. "Of course, Alex," she replied, her heart racing. She had always admired him from afar, but the thought of being called into his office made her nervous. As they stepped into his office, Sarah felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation. "I've noticed you've been putting in a lot of extra hours lately," Alex said, leaning against his desk. "Is everything okay?" Sarah hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. "My mother is sick, and I'm trying to help with the bills," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex's expression softened. "I'm sorry to hear that. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know." "Thank you, but I'll manage," Sarah replied, forcing a smile. She didn't want to burden him with her problems. As she left his office, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that Alex was watching her closely. She returned to her desk, her mind racing with thoughts of her mother and the sacrifices she was making. Little did she know, Alex was not just a boss. He was a man who understood the weight of responsibility and the sacrifices that came with it. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah continued to work tirelessly, juggling her job and her responsibilities at home. She often found herself staying late at the office, poring over reports and presentations, determined to prove her worth. Her colleagues began to notice her dedication, and whispers of her work ethic spread throughout the office. Meanwhile, Alex kept a close eye on her. He admired her tenacity and resilience, but he also saw the toll it was taking on her. He had his own struggles. His father had recently passed away, leaving him to manage the family business while dealing with his grief. He understood the weight of responsibility, and he felt a connection to Sarah that he couldn't quite explain. One evening, as Sarah was finishing up a project, Alex approached her desk again. "You're still here?" he asked, a hint of concern in his voice. "I just need to finish this report," she replied, her eyes glued to the screen. "I want to make sure it's perfect." "Why don't you take a break? You've been working non-stop," he suggested, his tone gentle. Sarah looked up, surprised by his kindness. "I can't. I need to get this done." "Let me take you out for dinner," Alex offered, surprising both of them. "You need to take care of yourself too." Sarah hesitated, unsure of how to respond. She had always kept her personal life separate from her work life, but there was something about Alex's offer that intrigued her. Perhaps it was the warmth in his eyes or the genuine concern in his voice. After a moment of contemplation, she nodded. "Okay, dinner sounds nice." As they walked to a nearby restaurant, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She had always admired Alex from a distance, but this was the first time they would be spending time together outside of the office. The restaurant was cozy, with soft lighting and a welcoming atmosphere. They settled into a booth, and as they began to talk, Sarah found herself opening up in ways she hadn't expected. "I appreciate you taking the time to check on me," she said, stirring her drink. "It's been a tough few months." Alex nodded, his expression serious. "I understand. I lost my father recently, and it's been hard to manage everything. I know what it's like to feel overwhelmed." Sarah's heart ached for him. "I'm so sorry. It must be difficult to juggle everything." "It is," he admitted, "but I've learned that it's important to lean on others when you need help. You don't have to carry the weight alone." Their conversation flowed easily, and Sarah felt a connection growing between them. They shared stories about their families, their dreams, and their struggles. For the first time in a long while, Sarah felt seen and understood. As the evening progressed, Alex's demeanor shifted. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a softer tone. "You're an incredible person, Sarah. I admire your strength and dedication. It's not easy to balance everything you're dealing with." Sarah felt her cheeks flush at his compliment. "Thank you, Alex. That means a lot coming from you." As they finished their meal, Alex reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "I want you to know that I'm here for you. If you ever need someone to talk to, or if there's anything I can do to help, please don't hesitate to reach out." In that moment, Sarah felt a warmth spread through her. She had been so focused on her responsibilities that she had forgotten what it felt like to connect with someone on a deeper level. "I appreciate that," she said softly, squeezing his hand. "It's nice to know I'm not alone in this." After dinner, they walked back to the office, the night air cool and refreshing. As they reached the entrance, Alex turned to her, his expression serious. "I know this might be sudden, but I'd like to see you again. Maybe we could grab coffee or dinner sometime?" Sarah's heart raced. She hadn't expected this, but the thought of spending more time with Alex excited her. "I'd like that," she replied, a smile breaking across her face. As they parted ways, Sarah felt a sense of hope blossoming within her. Perhaps this connection with Alex could be something more than just a friendship. But as she walked home that night, her thoughts drifted back to her mother. She knew that her responsibilities would always come first, but maybe, just maybe, she could find a balance between caring for her family and exploring this new relationship. The following weeks were a whirlwind of emotions for Sarah. She continued to work hard at the office, but she also made time for Alex. Their coffee dates turned into dinners, and soon they were spending weekends together, exploring the city and sharing their dreams. Sarah found herself laughing more, her heart feeling lighter with each passing day. However, the reality of her mother's illness loomed over her like a dark cloud. Despite the joy she found in her budding relationship with Alex, the stress of her responsibilities never fully faded. She would often receive calls from her mother's doctor, updating her on her condition and the need for more treatments. Each call felt like a weight added to her already heavy burden. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, Sarah returned home to find her mother in distress. "Mom, what's wrong?" she asked, rushing to her side. "I don't feel well, Sarah. I think I need to go to the hospital," her mother said, her voice shaky. Panic surged through Sarah. "Okay, let me call an ambulance." As she dialed, her mind raced with thoughts of the mounting medical bills and the strain it would put on her already fragile finances. At the hospital, Sarah sat by her mother's bedside, holding her hand tightly. The doctors ran tests, and after what felt like an eternity, they received the news. Her mother needed immediate surgery. The weight of the world pressed down on Sarah's shoulders as she realized the implications of this news. "Mom, you're going to be okay," she reassured her, though her own heart was heavy with fear. "We'll get through this together." As the doctors prepared for the surgery, Sarah stepped outside to take a breath. She needed to clear her mind, but the weight of her situation felt suffocating. She pulled out her phone and texted Alex, her fingers trembling as she typed, "I'm at the hospital with my mom. She needs surgery. I don't know what to do." Within minutes, her phone buzzed with a response. "I'm on my way. Just hang in there, Sarah. I'll be there soon." When Alex arrived, he found Sarah sitting in the waiting area, her face pale and her eyes red from crying. He rushed to her side, kneeling down to meet her gaze. "Hey, I'm here. What's going on?" "My mom. She needs surgery." "I'm scared, Alex," Sarah admitted, her voice breaking. "What if something goes wrong? What if I can't afford the bills?" Alex took her hands in his, grounding her. "You're not alone in this. We'll figure it out together. Let's focus on your mom right now. She needs you to be strong." His presence was a balm to her frayed nerves. They waited together, sharing stories and memories to distract themselves from the anxiety that hung in the air. When the doctor finally emerged, Sarah's heart raced. "How did it go?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The doctor smiled gently. "The surgery was successful. Your mother is in recovery now. You can see her soon." Relief washed over Sarah, and she felt tears of gratitude welling in her eyes. "Thank you. Thank you so much," she exclaimed, her heart swelling with hope. As they made their way to her mother's room, Sarah felt a renewed sense of determination. She would do whatever it took to support her mother, and with Alex by her side, she felt like she could face anything. When they entered the room, Sarah's mother was awake, her face pale but relieved. "Sarah, sweetheart, you're here," she said, her voice weak but filled with love. "Of course, Mom. I'm not going anywhere," Sarah replied, squeezing her mother's hand. "I'm so glad you're okay." Alex stood back, giving them space, but Sarah could feel his supportive presence. After a few moments, she turned to him. "Thank you for being here, Alex. I don't know what I would have done without you." "I'll always be here for you, Sarah," he said, his eyes sincere. "You're stronger than you realize, and I admire that about you." As the days passed, Sarah's mother began to recover, and Sarah found herself juggling her job, her mother's care, and her relationship with Alex. He continued to support her, often bringing meals to the hospital and spending time with her mother, making her laugh and easing the tension in the room. But as her mother's health improved, Sarah felt a growing sense of guilt. She was falling for Alex, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being selfish. Her mother needed her, and she didn't want to distract herself with romance when her family was still in crisis. One evening, after a long day at the hospital, Sarah sat down with Alex at a nearby cafe. "I need to talk to you," she said, her voice serious. "Is everything okay?" he asked, concern etched on his face. I feel like I'm being unfair to you. My mom is still recovering, and I don't want to drag you into my chaos," she confessed, her heart heavy. "Sarah, you're not dragging me into anything. I want to be here for you. I care about you," Alex replied, his voice steady. "You don't have to go through this alone. But what if I can't give you the attention you deserve? What if I'm too consumed by everything else?" she asked, her eyes searching his. Alex reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for honesty. If you need space, I'll respect that. But I want you to know that I'm here, no matter what." Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she realized how much Alex truly cared for her. "I don't want to lose you," she admitted, her voice trembling. "You won't lose me," he promised, his grip on her hand tightening. "We'll navigate this together. Just take it one day at a time." As they sat together, Sarah felt a sense of relief wash over her. She didn't have to choose between her responsibilities and her happiness. With Alex by her side, she could find a way to balance both. In the weeks that followed, Sarah's life began to stabilize. Her mother's recovery progressed, and she was eventually discharged from the hospital. The relief of having her mother back home was overwhelming, and Sarah felt a renewed sense of hope. With Alex's support, Sarah was able to manage her responsibilities more effectively. He would often come over after work, helping her with household chores and keeping her mother company while Sarah caught up on her work. Their relationship deepened, and Sarah found herself falling for him in ways she hadn't anticipated. One evening, as they sat on the couch watching a movie, Sarah's mother joined them, a smile on her face. "You two look cozy," she teased, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "Mom!" Sarah exclaimed, her cheeks flushing. "We're just watching a movie." "Sure you are," her mother replied, chuckling. "I can see the way you look at each other. It's nice to see you happy, Sarah." Sarah glanced at Alex, who was grinning at her. "I'm happy because I have you both in my life," she said, her heart swelling with affection. As the weeks turned into months, Sarah's mother continued to regain her strength, and the family dynamic began to shift. They shared more laughter and moments of joy, and Sarah felt a sense of normalcy returning to their lives. However, the financial strain was still a concern. Despite her mother's recovery, the medical bills were overwhelming, and Sarah often found herself working overtime to make ends meet. Alex noticed her stress and offered to help. "Why don't we sit down and go over your finances together? I can help you create a budget," he suggested one evening. "I appreciate that, but I don't want to burden you with my problems," Sarah replied, her voice hesitant. "You're not a burden, Sarah. You're my girlfriend, and I want to support you," he insisted, his tone firm yet gentle. After some persuasion, Sarah agreed, and they spent the evening going through her bills and expenses. Alex's analytical mind helped her see things from a different perspective. "You're doing a great job managing everything, but there are ways to cut costs and save money," he pointed out. As they worked together, Sarah felt a sense of relief. She had been so focused on her responsibilities that she hadn't realized how much support was available to her. With Alex's help, she created a plan that would allow her to pay off her debts while still saving for the future. One day, as they were finishing up their budgeting session, Alex looked at her with a serious expression. "Sarah, I know things have been tough, but I want you to know that I'm in this for the long haul. I care about you and your family, and I want to be a part of your lives." Tears filled Sarah's eyes at his words. "You have no idea how much that means to me. I've been so scared to let anyone in, but you've shown me that it's okay to lean on someone." Alex reached for her hand, his thumb gently stroking her palm. "You don't have to be afraid. We're a team and I'm here for you, no matter what." As their relationship blossomed, Sarah found herself opening up more. She shared her dreams of starting her own business, a small boutique that would allow her to express her creativity while providing for her family. Alex encouraged her, helping her brainstorm ideas and even offering to invest in her vision. "Let's make this happen, Sarah. You have so much talent, and I believe in you," he said, his eyes filled with determination. With Alex's support, Sarah began to take steps toward her dream. She started researching the market, creating a business plan, and even taking online courses to learn about entrepreneurship. The excitement of pursuing her passion reignited a spark within her, and she felt more alive than ever. However, just as things were looking up, Sarah received a call from her mother's doctor. "I'm sorry to inform you that we need to schedule a follow-up appointment. There are some concerns regarding your mother's recent tests," the doctor said, his tone serious. Panic surged through Sarah as she hung up the phone. She felt the ground beneath her shift, and the weight of her responsibilities came crashing back. "Alex, I need to talk to you," she said, her voice trembling. "What's wrong?" he asked, concern etched on his face. "It's my mom. The doctor wants to see us again." "I'm scared, Alex. What if something is wrong?" she admitted, tears streaming down her cheeks. Alex wrapped his arms around her, holding her tightly. "We'll face this together, Sarah. You're not alone in this. We'll get through it, no matter what." The day of the follow-up appointment arrived, and Sarah felt a knot of anxiety in her stomach. She and Alex arrived at the hospital, hand in hand, drawing strength from each other. As they waited in the examination room, Sarah's mind raced with worst-case scenarios. "Sarah, look at me," Alex said gently, cupping her face in his hands. "Whatever happens, we'll handle it together. You're stronger than you think, and I'm right here with you." She nodded, taking a deep breath to steady herself. "Thank you, Alex. I don't know what I would do without you." Just then, the doctor entered the room, a serious expression on his face. "Hello, Sarah. I'm glad you could make it. I have some results to discuss with you and your mother." Sarah's heart raced as she glanced at Alex, who gave her a reassuring squeeze. "Where's my mom?" she asked, her voice trembling. She's on her way. I wanted to speak with you first, the doctor replied, his tone professional yet compassionate. We've reviewed your mother's recent tests and there are some concerns regarding her health. We need to discuss the next steps. As the doctor explained the situation, Sarah felt her world begin to tilt. The words further treatment and potential complications echoed in her mind, drowning out everything else. She felt a wave of nausea wash over her, and she gripped Alex's hand tighter. Is there hope? Sarah finally managed to ask, her voice barely above a whisper. The doctor nodded. There is always hope. We have options and will work together to find the best course of action for your mother. But it's important to be prepared for the challenges ahead. Just then, her mother entered the room, looking frail but determined. What's going on? She asked, her eyes darting between Sarah and the doctor. Mom, we were just discussing your test results, Sarah said, trying to keep her voice steady. The doctor has some information to share. As the doctor explained the situation to her mother, Sarah felt a mix of emotions, fear, anger, and a deep sense of helplessness. She wanted to protect her mother from the pain, but she also knew they had to face this together. After the meeting, Sarah and her mother sat in the waiting area, the weight of the news heavy between them. Alex stepped outside to give them some space, knowing how important this moment was for them. Mom, I'm so sorry you're going through this, Sarah said, tears streaming down her cheeks. I wish I could take the pain away. Her mother reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. Sweetheart, you've already done so much for me. Just being here means the world. We'll get through this together, just like we always have. As they spoke, Sarah felt a renewed sense of determination. She would fight for her mother's health, just as she had fought for everything else in her life. She would not let fear dictate their future. When Alex returned, he could see the resolve in Sarah's eyes. How did it go? He asked gently. It's going to be tough, but we're ready to face it, Sarah replied, her voice steady. We'll do whatever it takes. Alex smiled, pride swelling in his chest. That's the spirit. You're incredible, Sarah. I'm here for you every step of the way. As they left the hospital, Sarah felt a sense of unity with her mother and Alex. They were a team, and together they would navigate the challenges ahead. In the weeks that followed, Sarah's life took on a new rhythm. Her mother began her treatment, and Sarah was determined to be by her side every step of the way. She balanced her job, her mother's appointments, and her relationship with Alex, who continued to be a pillar of support. The treatment was grueling, but Sarah's mother remained strong, often surprising everyone with her resilience. Sarah admired her mother's courage and found inspiration in her strength. They spent countless hours together, talking, laughing, and reminiscing about the past. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Sarah's mother turned to her. You know, Sarah, I've always been proud of you. You've grown into such a strong woman, and I want you to keep pursuing your dreams, no matter what happens. Mom, I can't think about that right now. You're my priority, Sarah replied, her heart aching at the thought of losing her mother. I know, but I want you to live your life fully. You have so much potential, and I believe in you, her mother insisted, her eyes filled with love. With her mother's encouragement, Sarah began to take small steps toward her dream of opening a boutique. She started researching suppliers, creating a business plan, and even sketching designs for her store. The excitement of pursuing her passion reignited a spark within her, and she felt more alive than ever. Alex was thrilled to see Sarah's renewed energy. I'm so proud of you for taking this step, he said one evening as they sat together in a cozy cafe, surrounded by the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. You've got this, Sarah. I can't wait to see your boutique come to life. Thank you, Alex. Your support means everything to me, Sarah replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. I couldn't have done this without you pushing me to believe in myself. As they discussed her plans, Sarah felt a sense of clarity. She wanted to create a space that not only showcased her designs, but also served as a community hub for others to express their creativity. She envisioned hosting workshops, art shows, and events that would bring people together, just as Alex had done for her. With Alex's encouragement, Sarah began to take concrete steps toward her dream. She started networking with local artisans and designers, seeking advice and building connections. She even attended small business workshops to learn about the ins and outs of running a boutique. Each step she took filled her with excitement and purpose. Meanwhile, her mother's health continued to improve, and the family found joy in the little moments they shared. They celebrated small victories, like her mother's successful treatments, and the days when she felt strong enough to go for walks. Sarah cherished these moments, knowing how precious they were. One day, as they were sitting together in the living room, Sarah's mother looked at her with a serious expression. "I want you to promise me something, Sarah," she said, her voice steady. "Anything, Mom," Sarah replied, her heart racing. "I want you to promise me that you'll pursue your dreams, no matter what." "Life is too short to hold back," her mother said, her eyes filled with determination. Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as she nodded. "I promise, Mom. I'll make you proud." With her mother's encouragement, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. She began to visualize her boutique more clearly, imagining the colors, the layout, and the atmosphere she wanted to create. She even started sketching designs for her first collection, pouring her heart into each piece. As the months passed, Sarah's relationship with Alex deepened. They spent weekends exploring the city, visiting art galleries, and attending local markets. Alex's support was unwavering, and he often helped her brainstorm ideas for her boutique. He believed in her vision and encouraged her to take risks. One evening, as they walked hand in hand through a vibrant street fair, Sarah felt a surge of happiness. "I can't believe how far we've come," she said, glancing up at Alex. "I never thought I'd be this close to opening my own boutique." "You've worked hard for this, Sarah. You deserve every bit of happiness that comes your way," Alex replied, his eyes shining with pride. As they strolled through the fair, Sarah spotted a booth showcasing handmade crafts and local art. An idea sparked in her mind. "What if I host a pop-up event at my boutique to feature local artists? It could be a way to support the community and promote my store at the same time." "That's a fantastic idea," Alex exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. "You could create a platform for others to showcase their work while building your brand." Inspired by the idea, Sarah began to plan her first pop-up event. She reached out to local artists, inviting them to display their work in her boutique. The excitement of bringing her vision to life fueled her determination, and she poured her heart into every detail. As the day of the event approached, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She wanted everything to be perfect, not just for herself, but for the artists who were trusting her with their work. With Alex by her side, she set up the boutique, transforming it into a vibrant space filled with creativity and inspiration. On the day of the event, the boutique buzzed with energy. Local artists displayed their work, and the community came together to celebrate creativity. Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment as she watched people connect, share stories, and appreciate the art around them. As the evening unfolded, Sarah took a moment to step back and soak it all in. She had created a space that not only showcased her designs, but also fostered a sense of community. It was everything she had dreamed of, and more. When the event came to a close, Sarah felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. She had taken a leap of faith, and it had paid off. As she looked around at the smiling faces, she knew that this was just the beginning of her journey. In the months that followed the successful pop-up event, Sarah's boutique began to flourish. Word spread throughout the community, and more artists reached out to collaborate with her. The boutique became a hub of creativity, hosting workshops, art shows, and community events that brought people together. Sarah's mother continued to thrive, her health improving with each passing day. The bond between them grew stronger as they shared in the joy of Sarah's success. They spent evenings together discussing the boutique, sharing ideas and dreaming about the future. Sarah often found herself reflecting on how far they had come, and she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the support of her mother and Alex. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Sarah turned to her mother. "I couldn't have done any of this without you, Mom. Your strength has inspired me every step of the way." Her mother smiled, her eyes glistening with pride. "You've always had that strength within you, Sarah. I just helped you see it." You've turned your dreams into reality, and I couldn't be prouder. As the seasons changed, so did Sarah's life. She found herself not only running a successful boutique, but also becoming a mentor to other aspiring artists and entrepreneurs in the community. She organized workshops to help others develop their skills and encourage them to pursue their passions, just as she had. Alex remained by her side, supporting her every step of the way. Their relationship deepened as they navigated the challenges of life together. They celebrated each other's successes and provided comfort during difficult times. Sarah felt a sense of security and love that she had never experienced before. One day, as they were preparing for another community event at the boutique, Alex surprised Sarah with a special outing. "I have something planned for us," he said, a mischievous smile on his face. "What is it?" Sarah asked, her curiosity piqued. "You'll see. Just trust me," he replied, taking her hand and leading her to his car. They drove to a beautiful park where a picturesque picnic was set up under a large oak tree. A blanket was spread out, adorned with delicious food and a bottle of sparkling cider. "Wow, Alex, this is amazing!" Sarah exclaimed, her heart swelling with joy. "I wanted to celebrate you and everything you've accomplished," he said, his eyes warm. "You've worked so hard, and I'm so proud of you." As they enjoyed their picnic, Sarah felt a sense of peace wash over her. They talked about their dreams for the future, their hopes, and the adventures they wanted to embark on together. It was in that moment that Sarah realized how much Alex meant to her. He had been her rock, her confidant, and her partner in every sense of the word. After they finished eating, Alex took her hand and led her to a quiet spot by the lake. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the water. "Sarah, there's something I want to ask you," he said, his voice serious. Her heart raced as she looked into his eyes. "What is it?" "I've watched you grow and thrive, and I can't imagine my life without you. You inspire me every day, and I want to be there for you through everything. Will you take this journey with me, not just as partners in business, but as partners in life?" With that, Alex knelt down on one knee, pulling out a small velvet box. Sarah gasped, her heart pounding in her chest. "Alex, are you—" "Sarah, will you marry me?" he asked, his eyes filled with hope and love. Tears streamed down Sarah's face as she nodded, overwhelmed with emotion. "Yes, yes, I will," she exclaimed, her voice filled with joy. As Alex slipped the ring onto her finger, they embraced tightly, both of them laughing and crying at the same time. In that moment, Sarah felt a sense of completeness. She had fought for her dreams, navigated the challenges of life, and found love in the process. It was a culmination of everything she had worked for, and she couldn't wait to embark on this new journey with Alex by her side. As they pulled away from the embrace, Sarah looked at the ring sparkling on her finger, a symbol of their love and commitment. "I can't believe this is happening," she said, her voice still trembling with excitement. "You've made me the happiest person in the world. I've been waiting for the right moment, and I knew this was it," Alex replied, his smile radiant. "You deserve all the happiness in the world, Sarah. I want to build a life with you, filled with love, laughter, and creativity." They spent the rest of the evening basking in the glow of their engagement, talking about their future and the life they would build together. Sarah felt a sense of peace wash over her, knowing that she had found someone who not only supported her dreams, but also shared her vision for the future. As the weeks turned into months, Sarah and Alex began planning their wedding. They decided to keep it simple, focusing on what truly mattered, their love and the commitment they were making to each other. They chose a beautiful outdoor venue surrounded by nature, where they could celebrate with their closest friends and family. Throughout the planning process, Sarah's mother remained a constant source of support. She helped with the details, offering her wisdom and experience. The bond between them grew even stronger as they navigated the challenges of wedding planning together. One day, while they were discussing floral arrangements, Sarah's mother looked at her with a serious expression. "I want you to know how proud I am of you, Sarah. You've come so far, and I can see how happy Alex makes you." "Thank you, Mom. I couldn't have done any of this without you," Sarah replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. "You've always been my inspiration." As the wedding day approached, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She wanted everything to be perfect, but she also knew that the most important thing was the love they shared. On the day of the wedding, surrounded by friends and family, Sarah felt a sense of joy that was indescribable. When she walked down the aisle, her heart raced as she locked eyes with Alex. He looked dashing in his suit, and the love in his gaze made her feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. As she reached him, they exchanged vows, promising to support each other through thick and thin, to cherish each moment, and to build a life filled with love and creativity. As they sealed their vows with a kiss, the crowd erupted in applause, and Sarah felt a wave of happiness wash over her. They were officially partners in life, ready to face whatever challenges came their way. As Sarah and Alex began their new life together, they realized that their journey was just beginning. They wanted to inspire others to pursue their dreams, just as they had. They decided to host workshops at the boutique, inviting aspiring entrepreneurs and artists to share their stories and learn from one another. "Let's create a community where people can support each other," Sarah suggested one evening as they sat together, brainstorming ideas. "We can offer mentorship, resources, and a space for creativity to flourish." "I love that idea," Alex replied, his eyes lighting up. "We can use our experiences to help others navigate their own journeys. It's important to give back to the community that has supported us." With that, they began planning their first workshop, focusing on entrepreneurship and creativity. They reached out to local artists and business owners, inviting them to share their insights and experiences. The response was overwhelming, and soon they had a lineup of speakers ready to inspire others. On the day of the workshop, the boutique buzzed with energy. People from all walks of life gathered to learn, share, and connect. Sarah and Alex welcomed everyone with open arms, excited to create a space where dreams could take flight. As the workshop unfolded, Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. She watched as participants engaged with the speakers, asking questions and sharing their own stories. It was a beautiful reminder of the power of community and the importance of supporting one another. At the end of the day, Sarah took a moment to reflect on how far she had come. She had transformed her struggles into strength, and now she was helping others do the same. It was a full-circle moment, and she felt grateful for the journey that had led her here. "Thank you all for being a part of this," Sarah said, addressing the crowd. "Remember, you have the power to pursue your dreams. Don't be afraid to take risks and lean on each other for support. Together, we can create a community that thrives on creativity and collaboration." As the crowd erupted in applause, Sarah felt a sense of purpose wash over her. She had found her calling, not just in running a boutique, but in fostering a community where dreams could flourish. The energy in the room was palpable, and she could see the spark of inspiration igniting in the eyes of those around her. After the workshop, Sarah and Alex mingled with the attendees, listening to their stories and offering encouragement. They exchanged contact information with aspiring entrepreneurs, eager to continue supporting them on their journeys. Sarah felt a sense of pride as she realized that they were building something meaningful together. As the weeks turned into months, the workshops became a regular event at the boutique. Each session brought new faces and fresh ideas, creating a vibrant atmosphere of creativity and collaboration. Sarah and Alex were thrilled to see the community grow, and they felt a deep sense of fulfillment in their roles as mentors. One evening, as they were cleaning up after a particularly successful workshop, Alex turned to Sarah with a thoughtful expression. "You know, I've been thinking, we should consider expanding the boutique. There's so much potential here, and I think we could create even more opportunities for local artists." Sarah's heart raced at the thought. "You really think so?" "I've been hesitant to take that leap, but the idea of expanding is exciting." "Absolutely. We could create a dedicated space for workshops, art displays, and even a small cafe to bring in more foot traffic. It would be a hub for creativity," Alex suggested, his enthusiasm infectious. With Alex's encouragement, Sarah began to envision the possibilities. They could host larger events, collaborate with more artists, and create a space that truly reflected their shared vision. The idea of expanding the boutique filled her with excitement and determination. As they began to plan for the expansion, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. She reached out to local artists and community members, gathering feedback and ideas for the new space. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and Sarah felt a sense of camaraderie as they worked together to bring their vision to life. However, as they dove into the planning process, Sarah also felt the weight of responsibility. The financial implications of expanding the boutique loomed over her, and she worried about the risk involved. "What if we can't make it work?" she voiced her concerns to Alex one evening. "Every venture comes with risks, but we built a strong foundation here. We have a supportive community, and we're passionate about what we're doing. That's what matters," Alex reassured her, his confidence bolstering her own. With Alex's unwavering support, Sarah decided to take the plunge. They secured a loan to fund the expansion and began renovations on the boutique. The process was challenging, filled with late nights and hard work, but Sarah felt invigorated by the possibilities that lay ahead. As the renovations progressed, Sarah and Alex continued to host workshops and events, keeping the community engaged and excited about the changes. They shared updates on social media, building anticipation for the grand reopening of the expanded boutique. Finally, the day arrived. The boutique was transformed into a vibrant space filled with art, creativity, and warmth. They had created a dedicated area for workshops, a gallery to showcase local artists, and a cozy cafe corner where people could gather and connect. As they prepared for the grand reopening, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nerves. "What if no one shows up?" she asked Alex, her voice tinged with anxiety. "Trust in what we've built together. You've created something special here, and people will want to be a part of it," he replied, his eyes filled with encouragement. When the doors opened, a line of eager faces greeted them. The community had come out in full force to support the boutique, and Sarah felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. As people entered, they marveled at the new space, admiring the artwork and engaging in conversations. Throughout the day, Sarah and Alex welcomed guests, shared stories, and celebrated the spirit of creativity that filled the boutique. The energy was electric, and Sarah felt a sense of fulfillment that she had never experienced before. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the boutique, Sarah took a moment to step back and soak it all in. She had turned her dreams into reality, and with Alex by her side, she was ready to embrace whatever came next. As Sarah looked around at the bustling boutique, filled with laughter and creativity, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. She had transformed her struggles into strength, built a thriving community, and found love in the process. With Alex by her side, she was ready to face the future, knowing that together they could overcome any challenge. Their journey was just beginning, and Sarah couldn't wait to see where it would lead them next. This story is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. The characters and events depicted in this narrative are products of the author,